A lot of people call me firefighter Merell. So if you see me out and about, right, and you want to come talk to me, firefighter Merell works. Right, you don't have to call me sir or mister, but right, that is appreciated. And actually, I graduated from Northside, right? So this is my alma mater. I graduated here in 1993. 1993, it was a very, very different school then. We still had the track running through the auxiliary hall over here. It's an indoor track that we had. Let's see what else was different. We didn't have commons, the common area that you guys know now downstairs. We didn't have that. The main gym was like, actually that main gym is still here. They just covered it up. I don't know if you guys know that little Northside history. So the main gym that we used to have, it's a circle shape. That gym still exists. They just covered it up. So if you ever get a hold of, say, Mr. Klein, and you want to know about the old gym, maybe he can show that to you. But it's very cool.
It's still here?
It's still here. It's still here. They just covered it up.
Why did they cover it up?
They just redesigned the school and thought it was a better design, and instead of, I guess, ripping it out, they just covered it up. I guess they felt that was probably better.
So they just put a block?
They just put a bunch of walls up and sealed it off.
Where is it at?
It's still here. I was shown once how to get to it, but I can't remember.
It's in D Hall, right? That's all right.
It might be. It might be.
What
That's
hall are you talking about?
It, like, but we went in Miss Bailey class. They took us in there. It was like, it's like inside the D Hall walls, because you know how it's like a weird shape.
That's exactly where it's at. Yeah,
Yeah.
inside the walls.
Oh, like when you kind of going to lunch?
Like where where the Spanish classes and stuff are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like by the library.
Yeah. So I graduated from Northside. Got a couple pictures on the wall down there in the sports hall. If you want something to do when you want to look me up, I'm down there somewhere on a couple of those pictures.
What did you play?
Football and wrestling.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I believe that.
Let's see. Obviously, I'm a Fort Wayne firefighter. I've been a firefighter for 19 years. At the rank of a lieutenant, so I'm an officer, so basically that just means I supervise a crew of other firefighters and try to make sure that they go home safe and sound after every shift. Right, that's my primary job. Yes, sir.
What's the fastest you put on your gear? Did you time yourself?
We'll get to that. And I thought about bringing my gear.
Question.
That is a great, and I thought about bringing it, but I wasn't really sure what this was really going to be. So maybe in the future I'll do that for you. I'll bring my gear in and show you how it works with the SCBA pack. It's very interesting. And then I don't know, maybe you guys can time me and see if I still have it. It's been a while since I've done it, but
So you ever use the big hose?
all the time.
What's that like? It's hard to hold.
Yeah, it can be. It can be.
Heavy.
It can be.
You gotta hold
The
it.
water's heavy.
Water.
The water's heavy.
I believe that.
Right. So I get asked a lot, what was it that brought me to the fire service? And I can tell you, it was my dad. My dad was a firefighter, and my dad was my hero. I look up to him, so I wanted to be like him. So I became a firefighter. I had an opportunity to actually work with him before he retired, put out a fire together, very awesome. Then he retired and left me on my own. So let's see, graduated from high school. After high school, I went to serve in the military. I went to the Marine Corps. Spent most of my time in Okinawa, Japan. And then once I got out of the Marine Corps, I came home, worked a bunch of other jobs before I actually went to the fire service. And then in 2006, I felt it was time, applied, went through the process, and graduated from the Fire Academy in December of 2006.
Hey, that's when I was born.
2006?
In December.
That's a great year.
I was here when my sister was born.
That's a great year.
You
Yeah.
got my month and my year.
Yeah, that's a great year.
I knew I was.
Right? So the fire service is a very great career. It's one of probably the best careers that you could have, that you can obtain without actually having a college degree. Right? It's important that you know that a lot of people think that we have to have college degrees and all this other training and education before you become a firefighter. In the state of Indiana, that's not true. However, there are some states that require you to have a college degree or something like that to become a firefighter, but not in Indiana. In Indiana, to become a firefighter, all you need to have is the willingness to do the job, help other people, some compassion, right? That's all you really need to be a firefighter in the state of Indiana, right? Obviously, you have to graduate high school. That's probably the most important thing, and not just for the fire service, right? For anything that you want to do to pass high school, you have to have the high school education, right? So it's very important that you guys finish high school and get your high school diploma, right? So then once you do that, and you have to be the age of 21. That's the only downfall with trying to be a firefighter, a career firefighter in the state of Indiana. And I say career because we have departments that have volunteer firefighters, and you can be 18 and do that in the state of Indiana. But for Fort Wayne Fire Department, you have to be 21 years of age to apply. Right, so once you do that, you apply and everything's good, you've stayed out of trouble, right? You don't have like, and you know, I guess to put it bluntly, if you don't have a criminal record, right? You can apply, and then you go through the process of being a firefighter and graduate and you embark on a great career, right? I can honestly say there hasn't been, in 19 years, there hasn't been one day where I have not wanted to go to work, right? We have a lot of fun. I look forward to going to work. We have that much fun. And it's a rewarding job, right? I don't think I have to tell you that. We help a lot of people in a lot of situations. We see people at their very worst. You know, they're probably having the very worst day of their life. And we have the privilege of being able to help them get through that rough day, or that rough time that they're going through. So it's very rewarding. So we work 24-hour shifts, right? So we gotta be to work at 7 o'clock, and we don't get off work until 7 o'clock the next morning, right? So I go to work tomorrow, which is my Thursday, so I'll go in at 7 o'clock, and I won't get off until Friday morning at 7 o'clock, right? However, right, being at the fire station really is like it's a home away from home. Meaning that,
Y'all be sleeping there?
yeah, we do, we sleep, right? We got
Well, when the
beds,
thing
all
goes,
that.
don't y'all gotta get up?
We'll get to that, yeah, we gotta get up, we gotta get up. So let me ask you, right, and raise your hand, right? So on a typical day, what do you think we do on a typical day, in the fire service? Raise your hand if you think.
Say why.
Well, yeah, we do that from time to time.
So y'all probably like get there and
Raise your
then,
hand, raise your
oh,
hand.
my bad.
All right, go ahead.
So like y'all probably like get there, then like what you like eat, you put your whatever like you could like you put like your work clothes on and then what you just chill out until you hear the alarm.
Not necessarily, not necessarily. Good shot, but yeah. We don't get to just chill out. There's things that we need to do, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Put things ready beforehand in case like another emergency.
Sure, right, preparation, right? We gotta prepare. And that means a lot of different things, right? We gotta make sure that we are ready to respond and offer the public help when they need help, right? So,
You guys like also cook
cooking is very important.
and
Cooking.
I was looking that up.
Cooking is, that is a fire tradition. Fire, there's some guys who cook, some who can't. Unfortunately, so I've had some bad meals. Okay, but it's appreciated. A lot of guys put in effort, but cooking just isn't their thing, and that's okay. But they put in effort, and we appreciate the effort. Yes.
Do y'all have like some kind of practice to be able to wake up at any time?
Practice?
Or do y'all just force yourself to?
Some guys need practice. Yeah, some guys need practice from waking up when the tones go off. Some guys they sleep hard, and sometimes we have to wake people up in the middle of the night when we gotta run. All right, so a typical day in the fire service he's very correct. I'm sorry, what was your name again? Leanne. Right, Leanne's very correct. Right, we have to prepare. Right, so we show up to work, and the very first thing we do is we take our gear, right, our firefighting gear that we wear, and the fire crew that was there the day before, we pull, whoever you're relieving, you pull their gear off the truck, and you put your gear on the truck, right? You check your gear, you make sure your pack works, you make sure everything is in order before you put your gear in the truck, on the truck, and when we call, you put yourself in service, right? So every morning, I grab my gear, I relieve the other officer that's there, I pull his gear off the truck, I put my gear on the truck, make sure my gear is operable, make sure it works. And then I will go and find that officer, and we will have a face-to-face, right? And we will talk to each other. He will let me know if there's any important information with the station, with the rig, or with the truck, to make sure everything. He makes sure that I'm aware if there's any problems or anything that I need to be concerned about. That's the very first thing I do in the morning, right? So that's part of that preparation, right? And then after that, I may grab a cup of coffee. There's paperwork I need to do. I have to generate a sign-in sheet so my guys can sign in and be to work on time. So I do that. And then we assign a cook. So that's the other important thing. We have every shift, we have a cook assigned. And so the individual that cooks, they will be getting breakfast. And while that individual is cooking breakfast, the rest of us will go out into the bay where the truck is. We'll pull the truck outside and we run the truck through the paces. We test everything on the truck, all the tools, the lights, the sirens. We make sure that the water pump on the truck works, so that means that we can get water. We make sure all that stuff works. And if need be, we will wash the truck at that time. And then by the time we finish that up, when we go back into the station, breakfast is probably done. Right, then we sit down, we have breakfast as a crew, we talk, we laugh, talk about a lot of things. We discuss what we're gonna do for the day as far as training goes, because every day we are required to have a certain amount of training hours, right? So like I said, we just don't get you chill, that comes later, right? So we make sure that we have all of our training in order. And that's just us. Now, we may have, like our bosses, our chiefs, they may have extra things for us to do, right? And sometimes we don't know about that until it happens. So we make sure that we try to get everything done just in case the chiefs come in and say, hey, we need you to go do this, or we need you to go do that, right? Extra training, whatever the case may be. So, again, certain amount of training hours that we have to have done every shift. We have house duties, right? We like to keep our station clean because we live there, right? Firefighters, in the span of 20 years, you spend about a third of your life at the station, right? That's a significant amount of time. So again, that's our home. It really is a home away from home, and we like to keep it clean. So as an officer, I'll assign we call house duties to other firefighters, and usually we try to, by 10 o'clock or so, we like to try to have those done. So whether it be, cleaning the restrooms, mopping the floors, or just cleaning up, just loose items that may be around the station, we try to get those things in order, right? So that's the first thing we do in the morning. That's the mornings, and by the time we get done with all that, you're pushing probably 12 o'clock, noon, somewhere in there. Yes.
So y'all don't get calls in the morning?
Yeah, we get calls. So calls, emergency calls that we get supersedes everything, right? No matter what's going on, no matter what we're doing, we've had a lot of meals interrupted. I've been caught in the shower and the tones go off, right? It's a horrible thing, right? Because now I gotta try to hurry up and put clothes on and try to get to the truck, right? It could be a challenge, right? So no matter what's going on, right? When those tones go off, we gotta drop any and everything that we're doing, and we gotta get on that truck and we gotta respond, right? So it can be a challenge sometimes. Yes.
Is it like one of them jobs where you can retire like decently young?
Talk about that. Yeah, good question. I like that question.
Keep them in your head.
Yeah. And then if there is nothing else that is going on, once we finish all of our training and all of our house duties and things like that, now comes, I guess, the chill part, if you will. A lot of guys like to stay in shape, so all of our stations have gym equipment, treadmills and ellipticals and universal weight stations and all that, where that if you want to stay in shape, right, and better yourself, you can do that. And a lot of guys like to try to do that around that noon hour, noon to 2. They like to work out, try to stay in shape, makes you a better firefighter, you provide a better service, right? You stay in shape, okay? So after that, you're talking between 2 and 5, we eat dinner at 5 o'clock, and that's when guys kind of chill out, right? And, we got TVs, and a lot of guys like to sit back and watch a movie, or they get on their computer. A lot of firefighters have other part-time jobs. They get other work done for their part-time jobs and things of that such. We eat dinner at 5 o'clock, what we call family time, and that means that we just sit around and we talk about our families, we talk about all kinds of things, and it just makes us closer as a crew together. And we call that family time. That lasts about an hour, 2 hours. And then after that, the day belongs to you, typically, right? So you can do whatever you want at that point. A lot of guys have their families come to the station, and even at dinner time. I know my daughter, she's a 911 dispatcher, and usually when she gets off work, she'll come from work and she'll come to the station to have dinner with us, right? Again, it's a home away from home, right? So you're never missing your families that much, to where, like I said, they can come to the station and they can have that time with you, right? So it's very, very few careers, very few jobs where you can have that, right? Does anybody have any questions at this point? No? Okay. So, fire department, you asked about retiring, right? Yeah, so in the fire service, in Fort Wayne, you have to have 20 years and be at the age of 52 before you can retire and what they call draw a pension, right? We have a state-funded pension, kind of like teachers. That means when you retire, you don't have to, and over the years, when you work, you put money into that fund, into that pension. Right. Everybody does. So that when you go to retire and you get a pension, right, you get whatever it's worth, you get so much money a month from that pension for you to be able to retire and live out the rest of your days. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah.
Do we remember remember when Mr. Zolf actually came in and we talked about 401ks? Have we heard that term before? Retirement accounts? Yeah. So those are public company or private companies do the 401ks, and then pensions are things that are more so government funded. What are some of the benefits of having a pension versus a 401k?
Some of the benefits of having that is, for the most part, is that it doesn't, I don't want to use the term run out, right? But the money doesn't run out, right? If you have a 401k, that is a set amount that you have saved up, and maybe your employer matched you. And if you're not careful, or heaven forbid, you get sick, you have to spend that money faster than you thought, right? Those funds could run out. But if you have a pension, a state-run pension, right, that money doesn't run out, right? You'll get that money until the end of your days.
Is it more protected?
Very protected, right? Very protected.
All right. Hey, I don't know if this is a little off pocket, but my mom and dad's friends, they divorced, and she got his 401k. Can that happen with your pension?
That's a very good question.
Real life scenarios right there.
Always thinking of
Okay, that is very real life. So, if you are a married firefighter, and heaven forbid you go through a divorce, all right? So you go through a divorce. Depending on the circumstances of that divorce, right, your spouse could be entitled to up to half of your pension, up to 50% of your pension. right? So yes, that can happen. It does happen, right? So, that's a very good question. No tap dancing around that. Right? Like I said, right now, I've 19 years. I just started my 19th year. I have 19 completed at the end of December. So come the end of December 2026, I'll have 20 years. And I'm probably looking to retire. I'll be 51 years old, and I'll be looking to retire. So yeah, so it's coming up quick. It goes fast. The firefighter service, the career goes really fast. And that's because we enjoy what we do so much, man.
So what do you think you're gonna do? You just gonna be retired? Or you think you're gonna get another job?
I have some other things that I'm interested in, that I like to do. I don't know, maybe I'll come hang out with you guys every day. We'll see. I don't know. But a lot of different things that I'm interested in. And I'd like to probably go down the road and do some of those things. All right? Does anybody have any questions? Any of that? All right, so the fire service. So there's a lot of other different things that you can do within the fire service other than being a firefighter. A lot of people don't know, when you go through the fire academy, when you come out of the fire academy, you'll be a firefighter, what they call firefighter 1 and 2. And then you will also be at least an EMT, if not an advanced EMT. So all of us that you see on the fire service today, we're all EMTs or paramedics. And that's just kind of because of that, over the years, EMT or medical runs, where people need medical help, have become our most common runs that we make. So the fire service foresaw that years ago. And so most fire departments that you go to today, you have to be an EMT or a paramedic, all right? So a lot of you who are possibly interested in the fire service, because you can't apply with the Florida Fire Department until you're 21, if you're really interested, it might be a good idea to probably go to Ivy Tech, which has a great EMT program, and get your EMT or paramedic certification. So what that means is, if you do go to the fire service, if you make it to the academy, they will, you still have to go and do all the classwork, but when it comes to doing your state tests in the fire academy, right, you've already had that done. You won't have to do it again. Does that make sense? Right, so just a thought. If you're interested, get your EMT or paramedic certification before you go to the academy. But if you don't have it, no big deal, right? All you do is you sign up, you go to the fire academy, and you will get it while you're in the academy, right? You don't have to have any kind of formal training with the Fort Wayne Fire Department to go to the fire academy. They will give you everything you need when you're in the academy, which is about 22 weeks long, right? So it's a long time, right? You get paid while you're in the academy, okay? So you're not missing out on any money, right? You can still support a family if you have one, right? So it's really not bad. You're basically getting paid to go to school. That's how I looked at it, right? Getting paid to go to school, to go learn, right? To embark on this great career. Make sense? Do I have any questions so far? No? So the process, it's a long process, right? The process between actually applying and then actually graduating and spending your first day in the fire station, it's about a year, right? The hiring process itself takes about 6 months. And it can be very, you could develop some anxiety going through it, right? Because you go through, you fill out the application online. After you do that, we have what's called a physical agility test, right? It's called a CPAP. And the CPAP is just a test of a bunch of firefighter skills that they put you through, that you have to pass to go on to the next step, which is a written test. And between every step, so between the CPAP, the written test, and your interviews, there's about a month gap in between each one of those processes. So that's where the 6 months come from. So So every time you pass something or you take a test, you're waiting for a letter to come in the mail to let you know whether or not you moved on to the next step, right? And that's where some of the anxiety can come from, right? Because you put everything into trying to do this job, and so people get really anxious about whether or not they're going to move on to the next step. So again, after the CPAP, you have your written test, right? And the written test is more or less like an aptitude test, like almost like any of you guys do SAT or ACT or anything like that? Have you guys done that yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Juniors just did it?
Yeah. So it's a test similar to that. Not as hard. It's not as hard. A lot of it has to do with just comprehension, right? How well you understand information. That's what they want to know, right? As a firefighter, it's very important that we understand the information that's being given to us. So that's what they gear the test towards, right? So then after your written test, and then you have what they call an interview panel, right? Where they set you in front of a panel of firefighters that are on the job, and they ask you questions. Each one of them will ask you a question. I think they ask you like 5 questions in total. But all those questions are, what they really want to know is how well you deal with adversity. So all those questions are geared toward how you deal with adversity, right? So it's very important that you develop skills in how you deal with adversity. Does everybody know what adversity is, right? You know what that is?
Yeah, like a
right?
challenge.
Yeah, how you deal with problems. How you deal with other people that you may have a problem with, right? That's what they want to know because, again, we live in a station with other firefighters for 24 hours, right? We got firefighters from all backgrounds, different religions, different life experiences, everything, right? So we have to learn how to
Get along.
It's that simple. And it sounds simple, but sometimes it can be difficult, right? There are conflicts that happen between other firefighters, and right, we have to know how to deal with that, okay? Respectfully, okay? And so during the interview, that's what they want to know. Can you figure out how to deal with the problem? That's all they want to know. Every single question they ask is geared toward them figuring out whether or not you can deal with adversity,
Like how many
solve problems.
But how many people like work your shift with you? Like cause you're living with them, right? Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So how many people do you live with?
I live with 3 other firefighters.
Only 3?
Yeah, there are some stations that have 8 firefighters. So, any of you guys ever been to a fire station? You ever been to a fire station? Which fire station did you go to? Van Wert?
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see, when you went in that fire station, how many fire trucks were in that station? You remember? Okay. You said you went to a fire station, which one? Say again? Roanoke, okay. Right, so typically if you walk into a fire station and you see one truck, right, there's a difference, right? We have one that's called the engine, right? We call it fire engine, and it's the smaller one, right? It's the smaller one that carries the water, right? So if you see just one truck, that typically means there's 4 firefighters that are probably living in that station. If you see 2 trucks, and then you have one that's called what they call the ladder truck, it's a bigger one with the ladder that comes up. Everybody familiar with that? Right? The bigger truck, what they call a ladder truck, if you see that in an engine, that means you have 8 firefighters living in that station. Right? All the fire stations are co-ed, right? Because we have female firefighters, right? So female firefighters, we have separate locker rooms. The one station they just built down the road from Snyder High School is all co-ed, so meaning they have separate locker rooms, but the bathrooms are co-ed, right? Meaning so anybody can go to any bathroom, but it's all private, one person in the bathroom at a time. And our sleeping quarters are all co-ed, right? So you females, right? We have a lot of female firefighters, and you don't see them that often. But Fort Wayne, in the last few years, we've hired I couldn't tell you how many, but we've hired, a lot of female firefighters, right? So don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated, great firefighters, they do a great job, and I love working with them, all right? So don't be intimidated. A lot of high school, students, female students are intimidated by the fire service, because they don't think they can do it, or they don't think they belong. It's not true. It's not true. If you wanna do the job, you do the job. You're very welcome. All right?
Could you be turned down because of like a medical condition, like
Like-
beds or something like that?
Very good question. So, to be a firefighter, right, you have to be in a certain, your medical condition applies. So, if you are a firefighter and, say you have, I would say epilepsy, right, you have seizures, right, you've been diagnosed. Unfortunately, right, you're probably not gonna be able to be a firefighter. Because those seizures, cannot be predicted, and we don't know when that's gonna happen, and unfortunately, that can come at a very bad time, and, could be, detrimental to, a lot of other people, including yourself. I did, as of 3 years ago, I taught the ANTHIS, the fire science program, out of ANTHIS. I taught that program. And we had, some students, with medical conditions, that would not allow them to be part of, take that program, right, unfortunately. But, again, it's all safety, right, safety for yourself and safety for others. And it's, again, it's unfortunate that, some medical conditions can keep you from being a firefighter. Very good question, all right? Myself personally, I had to actually sign a waiver because I had an ankle injury that occurred to me when I was a kid, a very gruesome injury that I had to have surgery for. And so I had, with that being on record, I had to sign a waiver to actually become a firefighter. So, yeah, medical conditions and things like that can keep you from being a firefighter. Any questions? No? Yes?
I know this may be a little touchy, but has there been a time you couldn't save somebody?
Very good question. Yeah, we don't, unfortunately, things happen, and, we're not able to save everybody. It is not a very good feeling because, as firefighters, we have a lot of pride in what we do. However, there are a lot of things that are out of our control, and, we don't get to save everybody, right? But I can tell you, one of the happiest moments of a firefighter is that when we do go to help someone, say somebody, cardiac arrest, and we help that person, and they go to the hospital, and then, days later or weeks later, they come to our station and they're standing there and there to thank us, right? That is one of the most gratifying feelings we could ever have as a firefighter. It's knowing that we saved that person's life, right? But again, we can't save everybody, and I've been on that end to where couldn't save somebody. Right? But we give it everything we got, when we're there. Sometimes it's just unfortunate circumstances happen. Yes.
Do you have to be CPR certified to be a firefighter?
Right. Yeah. Remember, as I so you know what? I'm gonna give you a buck for that because even though, as I mentioned before, even though we are EMTs and paramedics, right? Even though we have that training, we still have to do every year? CPR training, right? CPR training. We have to go through the American Heart Association, and every year we have to do CPR training, whether you're a paramedic or EMT or not, Right, so that's a great question. Alright. Anybody else?
You want to share? Remember about works from yesterday, or questions? We had a couple, were they?
He answered most of them. Yeah, smart we did at the end, he answered most of them. Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, very thorough job on today, guys.
Very well, yeah.
So, again, listen, remember, age of 21, right? If you're really interested, I don't know what grade you guys are in, but the ANTIS program is a very great program. Let me say this about the ANTIS program. So the ANTIS program, if you go through that program, and you go through the whole entire program, and you graduate that program, you will walk away with the very same certifications that I have right now to be able to be a firefighter. That's your firefighter 1, your firefighter 2, your hazardous materials operations and awareness. There's a couple of NIMS classes, right? All the certifications that I have right now to be a firefighter, you will leave that program with those certifications, right? So it's a very, very good class, very good course if you want to take it. Yes, sir.
This is more so of a statement, but I took the criminal justice class.
Oh, yeah.
Last
Yeah.
And, I'm CPR certified and stuff. But
Yeah.
I get a lot of cases in that program.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Make sure you recertify that CPR, man. Keep it. Comes in handy. Don't let it go.